After my life really started, after I finished my career, I had this great fear that whenever I meet youngsters, have I become irrelevant? Because I had nothing to do. And believe me, after you retire, this is a huge fear. This fear of becoming irrelevant. Because you have nothing to do. You don't know what to do. You don't know which way your mind will go, what your actions will be. I built up this place of my own. And in that place, sacred space, I introspected. And I looked around, all my books were over there. And I said, what is it that I really like? And I saw many, many books. There were lots of self help books. And then there were lots of books on humor. So I said, maybe this is what I like doing. And yes, since childhood, I'd like to crack, I like jokes. So what I did was I got on to Amazon and I ordered literally 100 books related to comedy. And I used to go through them very lovingly. There's nothing like having a hard copy book in your hand and to go through it, lovely paper, and after that to say that, look, I had many of them highlighted and I've still got them. And one book leads to another and something leads to another, and it's like an adventure. And through these adventures, I realized that, look, I wanted to learn, I wanted to explore, and it was great fun. And finally, I said, writing jokes is one thing, learning comedy is another thing. Nobody is doing cartoons. Maybe I should do that because I'm an ideas person. I have the ideas, sure. I didn't have the art, I can't draw. So I said, best is partner somebody. You have to find a solution. So I partnered somebody from New Zealand, then I partnered somebody from Serbia. You can find all these people on the net. And then I started showing people the work. I sent out 100 feedback forms in 3-4 years, 100. Trying to get feedback on how people rate the cartoons on a scale of 1 to 10, etc. Because, see, when you try and get feedback, you are facing yourself up to rejection. And that builds up your confidence because whenever you try to create something new, you have to face rejection. So you've got to practice that. So anyway, my work started getting better. I think over the next 3-4 months, I wormed my way into finally selling them. Then I put out Ajit Nainan, who's in Times of India, and I said, look, why are you? My pitch was that, look, aren't you bored doing political cartoons? Don't you want to do something interesting in life and blah, blah? And over a few drinks, he agreed. So, see, if you believe you have to do something serious, you have to do it differently. You can't just sit back and wait for things to happen to you. So it's a lot of hard work. Then I realized, frankly, if you ask me, I had zero talent, but I had a lot of guts, and I had a lot of go. And I'll tell you why. Because everything else had failed. I had tried 8 different things before in my after retirement careers. I promise you 8 different things. And nothing had worked out. Then I said, if I'm really that bad, maybe I need to do some courses and some tuition. Now, in one of the books, it was called The Comic Toolbox. It said things like that to get one good idea, you have to try 10. And then one good idea comes out. So I started writing a lot of jokes. I started reading a lot of jokes. One more thing I did. I went and announced to the world that this is my career. So I threw a party just announcing that I finally found my mojo in life. Now, I am a man I was in very image conscious. Now, when you go and make such a bold announcement, you have to live up to it because the last thing I feel I want is to have people laugh at me. So you make the announcement, and after that, you spend sleepless nights saying that, look, I don't want people to laugh at me. So that is a good thing. So another good thing that I did. So this fellow said, I'm going to charge for my time. So I said, never mind. And I took some coaching. It was really worth it. And the ideas was very bad. My ideas were very bad, but he was polite. And he taught me a few tricks. and that helped. I also did about 5, 6 online courses. And then I went to the US and did 3 courses over there. So I was very keen to learn. Now, what happened in these courses, especially, in fact, in these courses that I did, one was in New Hampshire, one in Chicago, one in Seattle. See, what happens is you form a different community. I found a different community of people who are passionate about comedy writing and comedy creation. And it's a different world out there. It's very different from the kind of people I've been meeting all along, business people, government people, because the sort of people who I've met most of my life are people who lived in air conditioners. And there I met people I remember, must have been 20 something or whatever. Now she was doing this course, and I could see that, look, she must have spent all her discretionary available income that month in doing this course, but she was doing it. Then I met another girl over there, again, 20 something, who was a stunt double in the movies. And then you realize that what passion means, what commitment means. And here I was sitting over here, and I can afford to change an interest, change a hobby every 6 months. So that's why these communities are helpful. You are exposed to different value systems. Now, like I told you, I got started and committed to this new identity. And then there were these challenges. Once Ajit Nainan, my partner, had some problems, either with me or maybe personal issues or whatever. And one day, while we are successful, right? While things are going on well, jokes are getting forwarded all around in WhatsApp and whatnot. Everything going on well. Everybody will say, everything going on well, what's wrong? Suddenly one day he says, I'm stopping. I'm not doing a single other card. And I go like, what? Everything's going well and he's stopping the supply of cartoons. Now, can you imagine? Here I am with just my words, desperately in need of illustration, with the only supply channel available that the Times of India will accept. And that fellow says, I'm off. I'm not doing that. And it was more like FU. So I said, now what do I do? I was saying, I can't afford to give this up because I've made a commitment. And yes, it's a fun thing to do. And I'm getting the name, fame, and everything. And it was too heady a thing for me. Everything was working for me. And then I thought and thought and thought. And then I said, okay, I've got a solution. So I looked at the past 500 cartoons. And I selected about 100 of them that had generic visuals. Husband talking to a wife, two guys playing with the kids, etc., etc. I took those 100 and I did the equivalent of word processing. So I would change the colors, I would flip them this way, and I would put a new caption. Now that went on for about a month. I was simultaneously doing Ajit Nainan again and again and again. And he finally agreed and he got back into action. But wow, that was one big challenge that I had. Second big challenge, I started living in a different world. I was taking courses not only in comedy, not only in cartooning, but in unrelated fields or somewhat related fields like screenwriting. Because in comedy, one very important thing is timing. So to improve your timing, you have to have a good exposure to a lot of other fields. I read comics in French. I remember once we went to Berlin and I ordered from, I think, Amsterdam, a whole this big, thick comics called Le Chat in French because I wanted to study a different type of visuals. Somebody called me from Amsterdam saying, sir, who are you? And why are you buying this? Because nobody ever bought this for the last so many years or whatever. So this is what I'm trying to say, that your interests have to diversify. Then I started reading stuff like the autobiography of the guy who started Mad Max. I started dreaming big. That's exactly what happens. So you have to just dream. And to dream, immerse yourself in different worlds. So took these courses. There was this place in the second city, Chicago, where I learned improv. Improv is acting. Now I'm learning acting. And the other guys over there are 30 years old. And it takes something to, in improv, to open yourself up, where literally you can speak any kind of nonsense and say, and the reason being that, look, I'm confident of saying anything as long as it is spontaneous. They teach you spontaneity, and that is very important in this field. And I think I was trying to build my own rhythm. Now, I was feeling a different kind of connect to the world. When I sat down in restaurants, I would try to overhear conversations and try to make something out of it. In the past, my world had been the practicalities of city living, taxes, the immediate family, the world of commerce, and now I was onto a totally different world. And the way I was looking at the world was through my lens of observation, of close observation, of dispassionate observation. Then I introspected on bosses. I had bosses, I had been a boss. And I introspected and I realized that I had been such a bad boss at times. And I had had such bad bosses. I guess I was a good boss at times. And I said, there is something in bosses that is crazy. And I wrote a lovely book. I really pride myself on that, with Crazy Bosses, a book of cartoons. So, see, what I'm doing is understanding. It's like what my mentor told me, that comedy is truth and misery. So if it's not truth, there's no comedy. And if it's not misery, you don't get material to wring comedy out of it. So I brought out the comedy in both these situations, Trump and Crazy Bosses. And I loved doing it. And I did it for myself. It didn't matter the books. I think the Crazy Bosses book, which was on Amazon, sold 6 copies. And 2 of them must have been the ones that I bought. And I don't know how many Trump sold. And if you must know, very frankly, I just came to Delhi, and my assistant who had told me that, sir, कुछ आपके checks पड़े हैं अच्छा कितने के हैं 800 500, and I opened them up just now and they happen to be Great Britain pounds. I'm looking at them. Somebody actually bought the books, and many of them are outdated. I can't encash the checks, but it feels good that some people actually bought the books. And so that's the kind of world I want to live in. I want to be excited about these things. So there is one simple thread in all of these. That the decision-making criterion was very, very simple. Am I feeling alive or am I not feeling alive? If I'm not feeling alive, then don't do it. I don't know what will make me feel alive, but I know what's not making me feel alive. And I said, let's not do that. Slowly, I'll flow into something that will make me feel alive. So it took me 8 different things before I started feeling alive about something. And then I said, yes, I will commit. And I made that announcement to people that this is it. And to tell you the truth, the most enjoyable thing in this whole thing is the learning. And the accelerated learning comes when I started off with the eyes of a kindergarten kid. I know zero. I have zero talent, but there is a whole wide world over there till the university level. I will learn, I will enjoy it, because one thing is for sure. I mean, this field I have enjoyed sometime in the past, not recently, but sometime in the past. So let me stick to it. And in the process, I remained in the moment, in that learning. See, being in the moment was in that learning. The main fun is in the struggle. And the struggle is tough. It's that blood, sweat, and tears. And that is where the fun is. The third thing is the solitude. I started enjoying the solitude. So much so that I started realizing that I'm actually an introvert. Now, all my life, I've been, successful because of my, ability to network, to be an extrovert and all that. And here it is, after 5 decades, I realized that I'm an introvert and I'm happy being an introvert. So these are the levels of self awareness that I went through. And I think that was what the struggle was worth. And I had created a unique identity for myself. And I just have a couple of more things to say. So I would say that a serious hobby is an opportunity to find yourself. And a serious hobby, the practice of a serious hobby, is a practice in being yourself, in finding your own rhythm, in finding your rhythm and staying with that rhythm and practicing it again and again. And then what you earn is many, many, many moments, precious moments of feeling alive. And that practice is addictive. And you are willing to pay any price to stay with that addictive practice. It's really addictive. Secondly, there will be challenges. It's very easy to want to give up. And the third is you connect to other people with some purposefulness. So those are the advantages that I think I have found. And I'm very glad my talk was about how I developed a serious hobby in the past. And what I learned was I earned precious moments of feeling alive. Thank you.